Wondering what life is really like on Canada's wild and crazy West Coast? This podcast is all about the people, the places, and Vancouver Island time. Together, we'll explore this island paradise, a combination of ocean, city, and country living. We'll meet the fabulous locals such as the Fudge Fairy and the Chicken Lady, who have chosen Victoria and Vancouver Island as their home. And we'll learn what makes this place unique and special to those who live here. And now, your host of Vancouver Island Time, Jane Johnston.
Hi everybody, it's Jane Johnston from Vancouver Island Time. I'm here with Sue Ferreira, who's an amazing person. You'll find out today. So Sue is going to talk to us about living in Vic West, which is just southwest of downtown Victoria. It's an amazing place. It's pretty much undiscovered, I find. And then we're going to be talking to her about what she does. She's an incredible woman. She has an incredible history that I think I want to share with you today. She is somebody you want to know. So Sue, tell us about living in Vic West.
I love it. What else can I say? Vic West is, as you said, it's the forgotten jewel of Victoria. And I've been in Victoria now about 12 years. And, you know, for long-time Victorians, they'll know that, oh, you don't want to live in Vic West. You know, there's trouble in Vic West. But there are always areas that are undergoing a transformation. And there's no doubt Vic West is one of those areas that's doing a transformation. Why do I love it? Well, just outside my window here is the Inner Harbour. I mean, if I could spit well, I could spit into the Inner Harbour, but I don't spit that well. So, you know, I've got the water close by. And I have my daughter and her husband staying with me right now. And so this morning, my daughter just says, oh, there's an eagle outside here on the tree. And there you are. The eagle's there. And the heron's there. And the seals are there. And I can just sit in my living room and watch them all. So it's a pretty cool place. And it is on the up and up. And it's just a very nice community. The other reason I bought here in Vic West is, you know, I'm getting older.
When did you buy here?
I bought in Vic West in 2006. And I had a place downtown before that. So I've been in this apartment 12 years. And it's just perfect for me. I said, look, I'm getting older. I don't want hills. I want a shopping centre close by that I can walk to. I want a bus that will take me downtown. I want to be able to walk downtown. And I have all of those. I have the Westong walkway right below my apartment. So it takes me 25, 30 minutes to walk downtown. And it takes me 15 minutes to walk to the stores. And I'll be honest, I'm as happy as a clam here. You know, I think I'm going out feet first. So. That's my plan anyway. As long as I can still get up 6 steps, I can stay here. When I can't do 6 steps, I'll have to think about something else. But it's a great place to live. And it's a great community. I've got a lot of friends here, and I can't say enough about it.
Yeah, I recently had a listing around the corner, actually.
Oh, yeah.
On Robert Street.
Oh, and yeah, it's around the corner.
Yeah, and so the woman who was selling it, she bought it for $425 last year. We sold it for $525 this year. Literally, you walked out of her complex and looked down the street, and the ocean's right there. And I think in any other city, that would be totally incredible.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I think this area and my particular apartment block is the biggest forgotten secret in Victoria. I mean, the house prices, the apartment prices are going up very rapidly right now. I mean, I don't know, maybe you've discussed this in your other podcasts, but I don't know, I'll ask you. I feel we're beginning to see the beginning of that phenomenon that's been going on in Vancouver for 20, 30 years now, where there's a move here and Victoria is changing. It's becoming much more dynamic, and I think house prices are going to continue to go up. But certainly in this area, they're still ridiculously underpriced compared with a lot of other places, I think.
Yeah, she's right on the ocean, so that's why she's saying that. But it's true. So that's why they just implemented a few different rules regarding...
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that in the budget. What was it, yesterday, the day before?
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. So it's 20% tax for foreign buyers right now if you're not going to live in the place. And if they also have a speculation tax if you're going to rent out and have short-term rentals, you're going to be taxed more heavily on your property taxes. So it's called a vacant tax as well.
And that's so relevant to Vancouver. It's probably not as relevant here right now, but it's probably going to be in the next little while.
Yeah, so one of my clients bought a place for $1 million, and it's going to be completing after this year, and it's going to now cost her $1 million too. And she wants to live here, but her plan isn't to move in right away. So that's the price you have to pay to live. That's brand new construction, though.
Yeah, mine's old. I'm in one of the, as I always say, I actually crossed the railway lines. Which no longer there's a train on. So I say I live the wrong side of the tracks. Just cross the railway line, turn left, and it does still have that feel, but everything is moving across the bridge and moving in this direction and changing. There will be big changes in this area in the next little while.
Yeah, same with Esquimalt, which is we're sandwiched between Esquimalt and downtown Victoria. So there are a couple of cool places around here. Do you ever go to Spinnaker's?
Of course I go to Spinnaker's. Spinnaker's is our local pub, and I go there quite frequently. I mean, you probably know Cheryl Ann Webster. We live equidistance from Spinnaker's, so that's where we meet. So yeah, Spinnaker's is a great pub, and I think the other thing that is gorgeous here is the ability to take walks. I mean, the new campsite which is going up in West Bay across the harbour. I look at that too. That is. I mean, it looks really nice. It's changed significantly. I personally love the float homes. I had a plan to buy one of those float homes in West Bay. That's a lovely corner of the harbour too, you know, that whole West Bay. I guess by then you're probably in Esquimalt, but I'm the road that's the end of Vic West. Right. Beyond me is Esquimalt. So I cover, you know, pretty much both. But there's a lot of neat things here, and the downtown is so close and so accessible. And
you can also take the little harbor ferries, which are really cute.
Yep.
And you can just take it from West Bay or Spinnaker. So, and actually one time I went to take the ferry, and I'm going in and I see this man who I know who's a lawyer who's retired, and that's what he's doing for his retirement. He's driving around the harbor, which I think is fabulous. So those go to different stops around the harbor.
Yep, and they're very good. You can, you know, depending on how busy they are, you can just call them up like a cab. In fact, some of them are painted like a yellow cab. Or you can just go around the harbour. And you know, again, as I get older, that's really neat because I can walk downtown, do my stuff, and then I can get the ferry back to West Bay. It's just a couple of 100 yards for me to walk from the ferry back here. So I love the ferries. I saw them yesterday. I didn't think they were starting up yet, but I love it because that means summer's coming, even though it's snowy outside. It means summer is coming once the ferries are up and going again, and that's lovely.
Well, we row in the gorge, and they go down the gorge to from downtown to the canoe club, and a little in the summer they go actually all the way up to the Tillicum Bridge. So sometimes when we're rowing, we see tourists with their camera taking pictures of us in our rowboat, which is kind of funny. But yeah, so and you can do they have pickle boat pub crawls as well, so you can crawl.
Yes. Pickled is the word, I think. Pickled is the word. Yeah, I haven't ever been on one of those pickled pub crawls because I don't drink much, but I have some friends who have. They're good tours.
So regarding this area, what sort of amenities do you like? Where do you do your shopping, and you know who's in your neighborhood?
There's everything I need at Westside Shopping Centre, and that's maybe 10 minutes walk for me. There's a Save-On, there's the bank, there's important things like Booster Juice and pizza houses and Mexican restaurants, and I tell you, that new Victoria sushi, that is great sushi. So I got that. There's a liquor store. There's a, wait, if you have any blood tests, I'm getting to that.
A medical clinic.
Medical clinic, yeah, Life Labs, that's the word, Life Labs. There's pretty much everything there. And so if I need, that's my major shopping centre. I rarely go anywhere else. And it does me. It's not flashy, but it's all I need. And the other direction in Esquimalt, there's some shops too. You know, there's the regular old Shoppers Drug Mart and a few other small stores. So it has everything. And I'm longing for that big new development just along here to finally get done.
Oh, the Roundhouse development.
The Roundhouse development. I think they're going to have some little artisan stores in there. I think it'll probably be finished in about 30 years. But hey, you know, it'll be great when it is done. And I think that will be a really big attraction to come over to this side of the bridge.
Yeah. So about 5 years ago, I was invited along with other top producing realtors in the city to review a plan for that. And I think it's a 10-acre development, 10 or 11-acre development.
Yeah.
So, and what they're doing is they're converting what was formerly a rail yard or a roundhouse for the trains into development. So they have high-rise apartments, and they are doing mixed use.
Yes.
There'll be things like daycare and things like that as well. And I think that's actually what's the primary driver to changing everything. That and the proximity of the West Side Mall is what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, for me, it's perfect. You know, I've got a lot of other friends who are older, and they're still driving up big hills, and they can't walk anywhere from their home to a store. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's not what I want at this stage of my life. So I'm really pleased. You know, I was a lot younger when I decided on these really kind of older person's lifestyle choices, but I have no regrets of saying it's got to be on the flat, got to be able to walk to town, got to be able to walk to the shops, buses at the end of the road. It's really it's a very neat area. Yeah.
So actually, I think you're really smart that you made the decision before you had to. So what you'll learn about Sue in the next part of the segment is that Sue likes to make decisions before she has to, and she does some really cool things. She's also a bit of a leading edge in video production. We'll come back and talk to that in a bit. Just want to touch on one other thing about this area. So they're also doing the big port,
and I mean that's an interesting development in itself. As you know, there's been a lot of controversy about that new marina. Interestingly, I know the guys who originally were going to develop it like 30 years ago. I knew that this was coming up. They were friends of mine in Edmonton. And it's interesting. I think there's been a lot of controversy and basically antagonism about the new marina. And I can understand that because it is quite big. But I think once it's finished, and let's just hope it's if you build it, they will come. Because I've done a lot of sailing, and I'm not sure how many mega yachts come up this way. But, you know, it may be if you build it, they will come.
It's a bit cold up here sometimes in the winter.
Yeah, they won't. Well, unless they come up and they, you know, I've lived aboard in my life, so I'm pretty familiar with the with living aboard and a marine life. I mean, if they come up here and they're happy to park it for the winter, so that they've then lost, you know, they don't have to do the 2,000 miles up from San Francisco, which is, I mean, I've sailed that coast from here to Puerto Vallarta, and it's a bit of a boring coast for a lot of it. So, you know, if you've got a mega yacht, you're basically going to chug and use a lot of gas from San Francisco to here. So I think it has the possibility as somewhere where people will come and park, and then they'll go up and explore the whole of the BC archipelago and up into Alaska in the summer. So it may work. It may well work.
So one of the great things about Victoria that I didn't realize when I moved here was there's a series of provincial parks on islands north of Sydney, and you can take a sailboat and go to these various parks. Have you done that?
Oh, I know this coast really, really well. Yeah. I mean, I've been all of the local Gulf Islands I've sailed to. A Desolation Sound. I also kayak. So I know this coast really well, up to the Broughton Archipelago, which is at the top end of Johnston Strait. And for me, it's that's where my heart really is. And kayaking, I don't sail as much. I pulled my shoulder out and nearly did myself a nasty one out in the strait here when I was sailing out on my own. So that was getting a bit stupid. So I sold my sailboat, but I still have my kayak. And I actually, for several years, I've led a kayak trip with my friends, and we know this coast really, really well. Yeah. Both the inside passage and the outside of the island, which is a totally different ballgame, but it's beautiful.
So I've been challenged to find cinnamon bun stories in each podcast. So did you ever have cinnamon buns from the cinnamon bun?
Absolutely. The guy, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It was hilarious. This was a long time ago when my kids in Squirrel Cove, the guy in Squirrel Cove, right?
No, well, I was in Montague Harbor.
Oh, not the Montague Harbor one.
I think he traveled around.
Well, maybe he did, but we bought from him up in Squirrel Cove on Cortez, and it was hilarious because it was just like, it was a little old wooden floating home, and you go in and the whole place, poof, was white. I mean, the flour just went everywhere. So the whole of the inside of this one-room cabin with a stove was white. Well, I presume he had grey-white hair, but maybe he didn't. Maybe it was the flour. He was just white from head to toe. And we got cinnamon buns from him.
Yeah. So we went up and we ordered the cinnamon buns the night before, and then the next morning you row over and you pick up your cinnamon buns, and they were amazing.
And how long ago was that, Jane?
Would have been 10 years ago.
Yeah. I don't know if he's still doing it, but it was such fun. Yeah. But I'll never forget this, like, poof of white. Excuse me, poof of white everywhere. It was hilarious, but good buns.
I didn't get to see them actually because I was with our kids. Our kids were little at the time, so our kids were in the boat. So I was looking after them while my husband rowed the dinghy over. But anyway, okay, so you've got a taste for Victoria, Vic West, that is. So we're going to come back in a moment, and we're going to talk to Sue about who she is and what she does, and you can learn all the interesting things that Sue has attacked in her retirement.
That's a good word.
We'll be back soon.
Vancouver Island Time is brought to you by the Briar Hill Group at Remax Camosun Victoria, where we bring local expertise and global presence to your property.
All right, and welcome back to Vancouver Island Time. I'm here with Sue Ferreira, who, one of the reasons why I asked Sue to be on the podcast with me is that she is an engaging and she has a magnetic personality, and she just attracts the most amazing people. And she has done a lot of cool things in her life. I'm going to let her tell you the story. One of the things I wanted to ask you, though, I mean, you can hear from her. She has a British accent. So tell us, how'd you get from Britain to going up and down the coast, living in a boat, to, I believe you lived in Alberta, and now you're in Victoria. I mean, which is also...
There's a lot of other bits in there, too.
Yeah, so we're actually one of the colonies, you know.
Yeah, well, I've been here 42 years now, and I've still got my British accent. So nothing ever changes, right? Except all my relatives in the UK say, "Oh, that's such a North American accent." But I guess I picked a bit up. Yeah. My story. Well, sadly now my ex, which is part of the story. We came to Canada in 1976. You know, the UK was a pretty unhappy place in 76. There was a lot of political misery, and we're both physicians, and we were in the National Health Service, and you know, there were strikes galore. It was pre-Maggie Thatcher, and you know, I'm not saying there isn't good to unions, but you know, it was a pretty unhappy place. And you have these final straws. I went in one morning to work, to go in the OR, and at that stage all of the cleaners and, you know, general factotums in the hospital were out on strike. And because I was walking to work, they couldn't believe I was a physician, because we all came in Rolls Royces, right? And I went through the picket line, and someone hit me with a sign and called me a scab. And I thought, you know, I've had enough of this. So we took a big deep breath and came to Canada, and I've never regretted it. I think I'm a genetic North American. I love this country. I'll get soppy. It's been incredibly good to me. So, you know, we got this right now, Jane. Olympics are on.
Go Canada!
Go Canada. And it's been the best country for me. And, you know, it's interesting that 2 days ago, my daughter has been living in Europe for 6 years. She's married a Brit. and he's just got his immigration papers last week. And so they've just returned to live on the island too. And it'd be really nice to have one kid close by. So that's why we came to Canada. And then I spent about 28 years as an anesthesiologist in Edmonton at the Stollery Children's Hospital, a pediatric anesthesiologist. And then that sad thing happened, which sadly happens to 50% of marriages now. I was divorced at the age of 60 after 37 years of marriage, which was kind of...
That's a downer, man.
If you want... That was my real... I'll cry again. That was my real downtime in life.
The blue period.
Yeah, black, I think, maybe even more. Yeah, it was a tough time. And so, you have to make decisions. You're 60, you're going into your old age. That was in 2007. 2008 was the financial crash. And I had this kind of vision. I don't have visions. I don't do visions, but I did have one. And I just suddenly saw, it was really emotional. I just suddenly saw all of these folks, especially the baby boomer age, who are going to lose their life savings. And it was going to be really, really tough for them. And I was an anesthesiologist here. After my divorce, I moved here. So I'd just been here a couple of years. And I don't know, I just decided I would do something about it. I would do something to help these folks come back and be able to survive their retirements better. I found out a lot of people weren't really interested in doing anything in their retirement, but business women, I think it's a tough time to be a businesswoman. And I don't know what you think here, Jane, but there are so many changes going on in the world. And a lot of them involve business. And I could see that video was going to be a huge factor in the future. And that if you're not tech savvy, you were going to be in trouble. So I built my business on trying to help women overcome two things. One is camera shyness, and the second is the techie terrors. And so that's what I do.
So I met Sue because I attended one of her sessions, and we did a video. Yeah, we did a 1-minute video thing, and we introduced ourselves to the camera and did in front of the camera work. And since then, a lot has changed. One of the things I admire about you actually is that you are a bit of a visionary, and she's always ahead of the time. And like me, you're high into research, so you're always looking
in the future. Yeah.
And so you run a Facebook group now. What do you call that Facebook group?
Be visible on video. Kind of obvious, And I'm building a YouTube channel, which is, excuse me, just had this flu. The YouTube channel is growing well. And like you say, everything's changed, isn't it? Even since we did, what was it, like 3-4 years ago, we did that workshop. And since then, there was a lot of tech of video. And we know that has all gone. I mean, we're recording this right now on Jane's iPhone. Boom! I mean, this is the miracle. I look at this and like, this thing's brilliant. So now all you really need is an iPhone. And we're using a microphone right now, and we've got a tripod. And that's easy. Yeah. In fact, I've got a new freebie coming out, which is the only 3 tools you need under $20 to have an HDTV studio. And we've got them all here. We've got the clamp, the tripod, and the microphone. That's all you need, and your smartphone, and you're away to the races. You can go global with that.
So you run weekly Facebook live videos, and you talk about the advantages of and you actually do some assignments for people.
Yep, I do. Again, sometimes it's a bit like pulling teeth, because I know how much women have got to do this, and it's really tough. So many women cannot overcome that camera shyness.
You know what, though?
Really, really tough.
I will say, though, when I first joined eWomen Network, which is where I met Sue, I remember Carrie Brown said, "Okay, everybody, let's do a Twitter hashtag for," and we're all like, "What?"
Yeah.
And I think that was probably like 2008 or 2009, and then I came on, and I'm techie, and I'm trying to teach people how to do selfies.
You did a fantastic job of getting us onto social media, or getting everyone and women onto social media, doing selfies, doing live videos while we're at eWomen. And that's where it's all at. You know, the principle is we've lived in our own local world. We've lived in our own local world forever. And everything was networking and public speaking, or at least even if you're doing a workshop, you're still public speaking. And now we've moved into this world where public speaking has become video, and social media is what networking was. You're doing the same thing. It's the same message. But there's this block about taking it beyond the screen. And I think that's tough. And that's what I want to do desperately for women, is saying, hey, this is no different. Whatever you say in the real world, say it out in the virtual world. And just extend your whole reach and influence and impact and make a big difference.
Yeah, and the point is that if you're going through what you're going through in your life, there are going to be other people going through that. So if you want to share it, you know, somebody doesn't have to necessarily, like I personally love the posts that people share about, you know, what did they learn today? Because I'm the fourth of 5 kids. And I used to look at my older brothers and sisters and I'd be like, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. Why do I have to, you know, reinvent the wheel when there are other people who are doing it? So my assistant always says, oh my God, like all you're doing is you're researching all the time. But with you, you're doing the research for us. People should be taking advantage of that.
Well, I think you've just made a really important point. You used the words, excuse me again, reinvent the wheel. Video allows you, sorry folks. This bug has been such a pain. Video allows you to do it once and then put it somewhere and it's there forever. And I say every video you make is a mini-me of you. And so you just create an army of mini-me's on your products, on the way you feel about life, on how you feel today.
It's your brand.
It's your brand. It is you. You are your brand. And you just create the video and then it's there. You know, if you put it on YouTube, it's there forever until you take it down. If you put it on Facebook Live, it's going to your tribe, your people. And, you know, we always would say, people buy from those they know, like, and trust, right? So video allows you to build that know, like, and trust very, very effectively. And it's powerful.
Do you know what's funny is, so sometimes, like last week, I was meeting a woman at the airport who was coming in to buy a house in Central Saanich. And she's like, I'll meet you at the reception. And I'm thinking, I don't know what she looks like. But she knows me. She feels like she knows me because she's been watching my videos. So she's like, oh yeah, well, I recognize you right away, you know. So it is kind of weird when you go to a public place and people know who you are and you don't know who they are.
Yeah, it is. But in a way, and I think this is what freaks a lot of people out, if you're serious about building a business today, you have to accept you're in show business. Yeah. That's it. Attention is number one. And you need to be, there's this lovely phrase, you need to be everywhere now. And I'm not saying you give up your whole life to it. But people search online. If you're not there, you're not there.
It's so true. Yeah.
And that's it. And this year, we've now just hit 80% of all traffic in the web is video. 80%. So if you're not using video, you're missing out on 80% of where people are going on the web. That's where people are going. And the whole important thing is to be seen and be heard.
I notice even when people are posting pictures now, they make it into a little video so that it's graphic.
Yeah. And it makes a huge difference. And there's some really cool, completely free apps that you can do that with. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want any information about how to make things more sexy, go to our sage here, the sage on the sage, Sue Ferreira. Okay, so what are your plans over the next 5 years? Because I know you have something exciting planned. You must.
Well, I kind of settled down a bit. You know, I had surgery last year, and I had breast cancer a few months ago, and that kind of makes you. I'm ready for life again, but it does change the way you look. But in terms of my biz, I think this is, again, maybe what a lot of folks don't realize. Things are moving very, very fast. Everything is changing. And video has almost become, well, it's not passé, but like you should be there. If you're not on video now, guys, start, okay? You've got to be doing video. But I see two big niches right now that I'm moving into that I'm going to, because of the way it's changed. A lot of people don't know how to build a YouTube channel properly. Oh. And I see these incredibly talented people put a video up. They got like 200 videos and they got 10 subscribers. It takes... YouTube, you just don't put a video up and leave it. You will never be seen. So I'm going to start offering to take care of people's YouTube channels. I will maximize them. I will make them look good. And I will take care of them. You give me a video, I'll do all the SEO. I'll get it looking okay. So I'm going to do that with YouTube because there are so many people who don't use YouTube properly. And Facebook's just had a complete spaz, as you probably know. Facebook hasn't got a clue where it's going in this world. So you don't know how you're going to use Facebook in the next little while. So I think it's shifting back to YouTube. So one of the things I'm going to start offering is I will take care of your YouTube channel. And the other thing which is coming online massively is messenger bots.
Oh, yeah. So I find those a bit annoying.
They're a bit annoying, but they're powerful. So and I know how they work because I have this techie dude thing. And so I'm going to start building bots for people if they need them as well. And I think that's where it's going. Those are the two big leading edge things for me right now.
Okay, well, let's chat about that. That's interesting. So I guess... how will people find you? That's, I guess, as we close out, I'm just wondering, where will they find you online?
Well, online, they can find me at my website, wisdomtowealthmastery.com. And I have website shame because I'm actually transferring to a new platform right now. So the website's pretty awful. My YouTube channel, which is YouTube, well, just put in Wisdom to Wealth Mastery in YouTube and I will...
Wisdom to Wealth Mastery.
Yeah, the whole idea is take your wisdom to the world. To generate wealth for you and for all of your clients. It's one of those nice win-win trickle-down things. So YouTube, Wisdom to Wealth Mastery. Facebook, Wisdom to Wealth Mastery. If you'd like to join my group, it's Be Visible on Video. And same Twitter, Wisdom to Wealth Mastery. Make it consistent, make it simple. LinkedIn, Wisdom to Wealth Mastery. And that's the other thing. When you're looking at building your presence, I see this with a lot of people. And this is why I'd love to take their YouTubes and, because they're all over the place. They've got different names and that scatters your ability to be found. So you get your name and get your website and which may be your name. But, if you're marysmith.com, I wouldn't go for that. So just think about what you're doing and make it the same across all platforms and you'll start being found.
Yeah, actually, when I started my group, Briar Hill Group, it was because I wanted a legacy of, instead of going janejohnston.com. I just thought from the beginning that was a bad idea. Yeah. Okay, well, we have run out of time, and I would love to come back and interview you again sometime because she has so much wealth, obviously, of knowledge.
Anytime, Jane. I love it. I really get upset. It actually breaks my heart to see talented women not move forward. Oh, it breaks my heart, especially because I know this is the ender. You're probably all going to live to 120. So what the hell are you going to do for the next 50 years of your life? I'm 70 now. So, if I've got 50 years ahead of me, I'm going to do something. I'm not going to sit on my tush and twiddle my fingers. So think about what you want to do. You have the opportunity to do something fantastic for decades ahead, but you need to be seen and you need to be heard.
Yeah. Great. Well, welcome to the neighborhood. I'm Jane Johnston with VancouverIslandTime.com. If you want to listen to us, we are on YouTube. Yep. We are on Facebook. And we have a website as well as we're on iTunes, Stitcher, and TuneIn. So hope to see you soon, and we'll chat with you soon. Bye.
Welcome to the neighborhood. We hope you have had some insight into West Coast living. If you know of someone or someplace that should be highlighted in our podcast, we'd love to hear from you. Please go to VancouverIslandTime.com and click on our Connect button. See you next week on Vancouver Island Time with Jane Johnston.
Have you ever asked yourself this question? Why is it so hard to make a buck? I know I have. Hi, I'm Sandra Yancey, founder and CEO of eWomen Network. What I have discovered after going from the brink of bankruptcy to running a multi-million-dollar award-winning business is this. You can't build $1 million dream hanging around minimum wage mindsets. My mission is 1 million women entrepreneurs generating $1 million in annual revenue. So here's what I've done. I've created the mother of all entrepreneur success programs that you can access online on your time. It's called Monetize Me Now. It's a 7-module online course that is 100% my success formula, covering mindset, mission, management, motivation, marketing, and measure. Come on, take my hand and I'll show you the way to learn to earn flowing revenue for your business. Visit monetizemenow.com for details.